Hello, peeps. My name's Alberto, aka Destroyer 48. Today I got Pee Wee's Big Herman. Pee Wee's Big Adventure. It is Pee Wee Herman. I mean, do we have Pee Wee Herman in the house? Do we have Pee Wee Herman in the house? This movie is it's Pee Wee's played by Paul Rubin, and the movie is directed by Tim Burton. Now, I'm gonna cover this movie so you guys can see. I will be going over some scenes and see if it's to your approval and you see you want to check this movie out. Obviously, it's a kids movie, so if you are a if you're a parent and have kids and you want to see my review and see you want to check it out, show it to show it to your kids, or if you're a good brother and sister and want to watch a little movie with your brother or sister or what have you, you want to check it out. All right, so now let's get ready to party. Let's jump into it. We're gonna have uh we're gonna have Pee Wee. He's in some kind of bike race. It looks like it's the Tour de France. He looks like he's racing against professional bikers. There's a whole bunch of them, um, and Pee Wee is riding this bike. He's riding his red bike. It looks like a Schwinn bike from like the from like the 50s or something. So it looks like again is the Tour de France. I think it even shows like a ghetto picture of um of the Eiffel Tower and stuff. So he's racing, he's winning. It's not believable. Um, but he's going fast. Excuse me. He's passing like racers really fast, and it looks like he's number one. He wins the race, and they're gonna carry him up, and they're gonna carry up to a stand, and like he's gonna win the gold trophy, whatever, and he's about to receive it, but he wakes up, and now he's back in his room. He's back in his room. He's under the covers. I'll never forget this part. He gets his covers like this, like a cartoon. He gets the cover like this, and then he lets go, and they flop down. He wakes up, and he's playing with all his toys and stuff like that. And then he swings down the pole, and he's in his jammies, but when he swings down the pole like Ghostbusters or like a fireman, when he's going down, he immediately turns into his clothes. It's like, wow, how did he do that? Um, I think he's gonna start like a match something, where he's gonna start like all these gadgets and stuff like they do in a lot during this time. A lot of movies and shows are doing this, and he's gonna light a match. It's gonna burn a thing like a little string or something. It's a set of all these gadgets. Like some kind of inventor or something, and all these gadgets are gonna one go after the other one, just like the Goonies. They're gonna go one after the other one, and what it's gonna do, it's gonna feed his for one. It's gonna feed his dog Spec. One of the gadgets gonna do that, and one is gonna prepare um, Pee Wee's breakfast. I remember there's some stuff when I could mention some stuff. One again, Spec his dog gets fed. Another one there's like a dinosaur contraption like a pterodactyl kind of deal, going on strings. It drops toast and and there's just a couple of things that go on, and then finally when it's done, it's made his bowl of Mr. T cereal. Ha ha ha! I don't know if y'all old enough, you remember Mr. T, the black gentleman with a mohawk, used to be a Golden Gloves boxer that came out, and Rocky that fought Rocky in Rocky 3. That's his cereal, and then he's gonna have pancakes, and they're really kind of dumb part is like he has the pancakes right, and then he has the Mr. T cereal. He pours it on his pancakes, and he just gets like a little bite. He's like, he's just acting silly. And he did all that for a big breakfast just to eat a little bit. I believe he around this time, yeah, in the beginning, there is like some kind of weight machine that old school weight machines that they would give at the store back in the day in the 80s, 70s. It'd be a heavy weight machine at the stores, and he has one of these, and it will give you your weight as long as well as a fortune card or something. And I don't remember exactly. I think it says he's like 99 pounds. He's like 100 under 100 pounds. So he's super skinny. He super looks like a ghost. And then the card does tell him, don't go outside, oh, red flag. And then after all this ordeal, he also finds time to brush his teeth and all that stuff. Um, he says he's gonna water his lawn. He tells the neighbor, "Hey, close up your window. You're gonna get wet." So he takes out and it's some. I remember them selling this thing in the day as like a worm kind of deal, and it has all these stringy stuff. You attach it to your water hose, and it starts going everywhere. And in front of Pee Wee's house, he has a lot of stuff. I think it's like a rocket ship, a horse, or a moose. He has all these statues in his front lawn, and from there he's gonna go get his bike. But before he gets a bike, he needs to go on the side of a house, press a code. The antenna moves around, all this stuff, all these things, lights go off somewhere, and it's like it's all these gadgets going on to let's like unveil, so to speak, his bike, which opens a door into secret passageway, whatever. So you could tell he's very protective of his bike. Now he's gonna take his bike out, and he runs into Francis. Francis says that Francis says this is overweight gentleman. He acts kitty like and stuff. And it when he when Francis surprises Pee Wee, and this is where Pee Wee's like walking on the sidewalk and stuff. So Francis surprises him. Pee Wee does not seem like he's very fond of Francis, because Francis is like, "Hello, Pee Wee," and then Pee Wee's like, "Oh, hello, Francis." Like he doesn't want nothing to do with Francis. And then Francis says, "Today's my birthday. My dad could tell me I could get whatever I want." And Pee Wee goes, "Well, good for you and you. It's good, very good for you and your father." And then Francis tells him, "Yeah, I wanna buy your bike." And then Pee Wee like starts. He goes on the floor. He starts laughing. He's like, he's one of those laughing. And then Francis is like, "What's so funny, Pee Wee?" And then Pee Wee says, "It's not for sale, Francis." There he goes, he's like, "You're an idiot." And he's like, "I know you're right, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to the lines because I used to see this a lot as a kid, so I get into it. And believe me, I'm not gonna go through every single scene." Um, they're like, you're a nerd. No, you're right. Well, you're an idiot. No, you're an... And then they just start going back and forth. And then Pee Wee gets him like, uh, he says, "Francis, you're an idiot." He's like, "Oh, shut up, Pee Wee." I'm like, and he says something. What does he say? Something, "I can't make monkeys," and I can't turn. Oh, they're just saying insults back and forth. I'm not gonna get all into it. But at the end of that conversation, Pee Wee's like, "It's not for sale." He goes away. Then Francis says, "You'll be sorry, Pee Wee Herman." And then Pee Wee goes on his bike. He sees some kids doing tricks on his bike. He tries to do tricks as well. And he's over there acting dumb, going la 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 la. I mean, it's kind of entertaining and just kind of childish. I mean, I'll probably get into it again. uh, but he starts riding his bike, and each movie does on his bike, it's even more extreme than the next. And until he finally starts leaning over his bike, he falls down. Some kids see him; they're riding their bikes well. They're like laughing at him and stuff. And it turns out that he's gonna go to the mall, and they call it a mall. To me, a mall is going in indoors. I don't, where I'm from, we don't really have outdoor malls. Not really, not that many, whatever, or not anything really close to me. So it's an outside mall. He's gonna go to the shop to pick up some supplies. He does get his bike. He makes sure it's secure. He gets these chains that he has in his box, and he ties it to a clown in the outside of the or the outer doors of the mall. He goes to no, actually he goes to, I don't know, what does he go to this? Does he go to the bike shop or the magic shop? I think he goes to the well, anyways, he ends up going to the bike shop. He wants to get a horn. He's getting all. He meets up with these kids that they're all BMX guys. They even have like pads and stuff for their bikes. I'm like, wow. He's gonna go to Dottie, the worker there at the bike place. It's Chuck's Bikerama, I believe. Um, and Dottie's about to get a horn, and she's just some chick that works there, and she is um before she gives Pee Wee the horn, she wants to know if Pee Wee will go to the drive-in with her, and Pee Wee's like, no. It's like kind of like I'm a rebel, a loner kind of deal, and she's like, I don't understand. And Pee Wee's like laughing on the way out, like, no, I'm not gonna go out with you and stuff like that. He does go make a trip to a magic shop to get supplies. He gets a bow tie. It's like a boomerang. He gets I know he rejects the fake blood, and what else does he reject? Vomit. He rejects a lot of stuff. He gets trick gum. He does get trick gum, and supposedly a bow tie. Like I was saying, it's like a boomerang, and that's just to name some of the supplies he gets. Um, but when he's done doing his stuff, he goes to the clown, and somebody has broken up the chains that he used to secure his bike, and they have stolen his bike. And I remember he goes back into to Chuck's Bikerama, and he goes, Daddy, and he gets his once he walks in the store when his bike's been stolen, he goes, Daddy, and he has his only has his horn left. He goes, he presses the horn, beep. He falls over the bikes. All the bikes fall down because they're in a row. There's a whole bunch of them. Uh, Next thing you know, they call the cops. They call the paramedics, or he's on a gurney, or what do you want to call a stretcher? They have a gas mask. And he goes, call the cops, go or call a dragnet, whatever. Y'all don't know what a dragnet is. I think a dragnet is the participation of cops and the FBI, some deal like that to help you out or whatever in special cases. And then the police tell them we can't do nothing about your bike if it's gone 24 hours or something. You go get it reported or it doesn't turn up. And then Dottie's like, "Where are you gonna go, Pee Wee?" And he sits up. He looks like he's okay at the stretcher. He goes, "Excuse me." He goes, "I gotta go find my bike." he goes. He goes on the outside to look for his bike. And it's funny because he sees all these people riding bikes or people playing with toys for bikes, and he makes him miss his bike even worse. He has not found anything. He goes to the police. He talks to a police woman at the police station, and he's saying like, "I know." She said something. What do you makes you think that the Russians want your bike or something like that? And he's like, "Well, I," and then the police woman stops him and says, "If I were you, I would retrace my steps." And she was also telling him, "Hey, a lot of very few bikes get stolen bikes get recaptured, And yeah, and she's like, I've already got retraced my steps. And then Pee Wee says, well, this morning Francis won. Francis, and he runs out of the police station. The first place he goes is Francis, Francis' house. And there's when he knocks on the door, there's a big, like, fat Chinese man. Not to be rude, but he is, or overweight, what do you want to call it? And Pee Wee goes, "Where's Francis?" And then the Chinese fat man goes, "Francis is busy. He's busy taking his bath." And then Pee Wee's like, "Where are they hosing him down?" And Pee Wee has to trick his way into going in there. He does trick the Chinese man because he has a device that puts a hand knocking that stays on the door attached to it. And while the Chinese man answers the door, that Pee Wee has found another way in. I guess through maybe a window. That's all I think. So Pee Wee he is breaking and entering. He finds where Francis is taking a bath, and Francis is actually taking a bath in a big, huge. It's like an indoor little pool. I mean, it's really cool. He's playing with Francis is in the pool, and he's playing with boats, and he's pretending he's Godzilla. I mean, this pool is indoor little pool is huge, and he's getting like little action figures from the boat, put in his mouth like he's Godzilla, and he spits them out. I mean, and it's funny because he doesn't look like a little kid. He looks like a grown man acting like a child. Kind of like Wally, I want my toy sometimes. I'm just kidding. Well, anyways, yeah, he's back in the pool. He's with the boats. Pee Wee breaks in. No, he walks in the door. The thing is not locked, and he locks it. And then he and then Pee Wee's like, "Where's my bike, Francis?" And Francis is like, "I don't have your bike." And then and then Pee Wee goes to wrestle him or assault him in the pool, which is pretty funny. They're like rolling around in the freaking little mini pool or whatever you want to call it. And then I think Francis escapes, and the big Francis's dad is there, and he's telling the Chinese big guy to, hey, bust through the door. Francis escapes from Pee Wee. The big Chinese guy is about to try to run through the door like a break it down like a ram. While he's running through, at the same time, Francis opened the door. The big fat guy falls in the pool, and then he gets all wet. So at the same time, Pee Wee is like at a window trying to open the window. He can't open it, and then Francis' dad, I think it's Mr. Buxton. I think is what his last name is. Gets Pee Wee by the arm and takes him outside to the living room. And Mr. Buxton's like, "What's this all about?" And then Pee Wee's like, "You know, Francis is a thief. He has stole my bike, and Francis with him too." And then Francis is like, I swear I didn't steal it, Dad," or something like that. And then Mr. Buxton's like, "Pee Wee, Pee Wee, the Buxtons are not thieves. We've been planning his birthday party all day or whatever." And then Pee Wee's like, "Okay, it was a misunderstanding. I'm really sorry. We don't have to involve the authorities, do we? Do we, Mr. Buxton?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." "Well, look here." Pee Wee's like, "You want some gum, experiment, or fruit, whatever?" He's like, "Fruit, please." And he gives some to Francis. And Pee Wee leaves them. And I think Mr. Bugs is like, "Nah, I'm not gonna press charges, I guess," because they offered him gum all kindly. And then when they're chewing the gum, Pee Wee leaves, and then Francis is chewing because Pee Wee gave him some gum too. Francis is chewing the gum, and all this black ooze is coming down his mouth. It's funny, and it's pretty gross. And then Mr. Buxton with his gum like, ah, it's hurting him, or I don't know what. And then Pee Wee takes off from there. Pee Wee's still trying to recover his bike. Um, He goes on radio with Dottie, and they're putting on like flyers on the poles out in the town, whatever. Reward for the bike. It's funny because Dottie's like, how are you gonna have money for that to pay that reward if somebody brings in your bike? And he's like, if they have that kind of money, they obviously stole my bike and they don't deserve to be paid. Okay, and then Dottie and and Pee Wee. Well, even at that, what Pee Wee also does, he sets up a meeting at his house in the garage, and no, it's not in his garage. It's in the basement. So everybody starts coming in his basement for the meeting about his missing bike. It's very dreary in there. It's very dark. He has a light in there, and it's funny. He has a folder of Chuck Dottie got here's a folder for everybody getting, and he conducts the meeting. And I remember the part where there's this guy talking to it, and Pee Wee, he's talking to this guy named Crazy Larry. He's like talking to another guy. Well, during Pee Wee's speech, where Pee Wee finds it rude, and he's like, "Is there something you want to share with us, Larry? Crazy, amazing Larry, or whatever." Gets after him. Pee Wee's talking crazy like a mad scientist because he's all upset about his bike, and Chuck finally has to stop Pee Wee because he's there talking for a long time during that meeting, trying to talk to these people to recover his bike. And Chuck's like, Pee Wee. And then Pee Wee's like, please save your questions after. And then Chuck's like, well, when is that gonna be? We've been here for like 2 hours or something like that. And everybody's gonna leave. Dottie says, well, maybe I can get Chuck at his bike shop to give you a good deal on his bikes. And Pee Wee's like, I don't want another bike, whatever. And then we are gonna. There's also the part where um, what's gonna happen is that now we're gonna be he's doing the flyers and stuff. Now they're gonna go on the air, and now they're Pee Wee and Dottie are gonna go on the air, and they're gonna tell the radio station what happened to his bike, and the station comes out, but it comes out where we're with Francis, and Francis is with a hood, some hood guy, and the bike Pee Wee's bike is there, so the hood guy. They're listening to the radio, and the radio saying that, and Pee Wee came out saying, "Look for help me find my bike." And the radio host is like, "Oh, that's some story, Pee Wee." And he's like, "If you see my bike, my name is Pee Wee Herman." He's probably gonna give a number going P-E-E. But Francis turns off the radio, and it looks like they're in Francis's dad's den or something like that. And once again, Francis is with a hood guy, some bad guy, some bad kid, or I don't know. It looks like he wants to be a kid like Francis, but he's older too. He has slick hair and stuff like that. Anyways, so that hood guy or kid, whatever, has has stolen has stolen the bike for Francis. And then Francis is saying, you know what? There's too much heat. I don't want the stupid bike anymore. And then that hood guy says, well, you know what? That's gonna cost you extra. So fork over the money, Buxton. So Francis has to pay the hood guy for his services for stealing the bike and for trying to get rid of it because he's feeling the heat and he no longer wants the bike. Now, Pee Wee is going to go to a gypsy, and it's funny because the time he goes to for the gypsy, it is it is nighttime and it's raining hard, and he's walking down the street. He's like this, like he doesn't have a raincoat. He's just in his Pee Wee Herman suit and tie, and then it's raining hard, and he looks like he's going in an alley or down the street. There's nobody gonna be there because it's raining hard, except these thugs. These thugs, they come over, and they're like, fuck over your wallet," and I think they have a knife or something. And then Pee Wee goes like a vampire, and they all start running. And then Pee Wee, once again in the rain, he goes to a gypsy place. He goes to a gypsy place, and we're gonna see what he's up to. When he gets there, the gypsy's like, you know, for 30 bucks, I could tell you some things, something like that. For 50, I could tell you everything. And then the gypsy has her fake magic crystal. What do they call it? Crystal ball. And you know it's fake because I think it shows where her foot is like pressing a button because the light is going on the crystal ball, but her foot is touching on a button on the floor, which makes it a light. So it's fake, obviously. If it was legit or really magical, you would not need be a switch to turn it on the floor. And then she says, I hardly have some of this parts memorized because I saw it so much as a kid. And she goes, "You're here because you want something." And then she had taken the wallet and she goes, "Oh, I see a bicycle." And he's like, "Yes, yes, tell me where it is. Tell me where it is." And then she puts her hand on the crystal ball. "It's in the basement. The basement." And he's like, "What else?" And she's like, And then she sees a building outside. It says it's at the Alamo. It's some building that says Alamo for some reason. And he's like, "Alamo." And then he kisses her hand, like thanks her, and then he leaves. Next scene you see is that, well, for y'all that don't know, the Alamo is in Texas. It's in San Antonio. So now we're gonna see the next scene that Pee Wee is now he's hitchhiking in the like on a highway or something. And at first he has a sign that has Texas, and nobody's picking up for a while. And he is exhausted from waiting or trying to get a ride. He's trying really hard, and then he's like laid out on the street like this. Even before that, he had a big thumb like that, and nobody was getting him. But then he's all like this in the street from dying from heat exhaustion, whatever. I guess he manages to get up because now he's standing up, and now I think it's a blue Cadillac comes by, and it's this guy named Mickey that's gonna pick up Pee Wee. And so this guy's name is Mickey. He's starting to talk to Pee Wee, and he's dressed all in blue, kind of like I want to say leather, not leather, but blue jean kind of jacket kind of deal. He's all in blue. That's already one red flag. And then, oh my gosh, you get to see that Pee Wee gets to see that he has one handcuff on and then he has one off. So he's escaped police custody or maybe a prison, but it turns out he's escaped from a prison. So he was like, "What did you do?" And then Mickey goes, "At the stores, those when you go to those beds, those mattresses, they have those tags that don't do not remove tags." And Pee Wee's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, I cut one of them off." It's like, "Geez." And Mickey's like, "I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad man." Pee Wee. uh, Before I forget, they start talking a little bit chummy, whatever, because Mickey wants to do a lot, light up while he's driving. He tells, "Hey kid, take the wheel," and then Pee Wee takes the wheel, like he's laughing all weird and stuff as always. And then and then Mickey is smoking. He's like, "All right, I got it," and then Pee Wee's like, and like making all these stupid noises, and then Mickey's like, "Oh, I'm like, ooh, like this guy's an idiot," kind of deal. Um, well, so Pee Wee's actually in a good mood from talking from Mickey's asking about the big house. And I better say this before I forget. When Mickey's driving, Pee Wee's looking at Mickey on this side, and there's a truck. This is what gets me mad. There's a truck with a Mickey with a bunch of bikes in it, and one of them is Pee Wee's bike. But Pee Wee never turns around to the side to see the truck, and it's gonna be too late because there's gonna be a fork in the road, and the truck with Pee Wee's bike that he's been looking for goes to the right, and they go to the left. So I get mad. I shouldn't get mad, just whatever. But it's like, man, dude, like you had your bike. All you had to do was just turn around, and you would have saw it, and they would have been in a hot pursuit trying to get the bike. Possibly. I don't know if Mickey would get in jail because he just got out of jail and he get in trouble. Anyways, so what ends up happening is that so they go that way, and this is one of my I like this part. Mickey and Pee Wee they pull up to they're gonna pull up to it's a police stoppage barricade whatever, not barricade, but it's cops that are blocking the road because they're more likely they're looking for escaped convict, which is probably Mickey. And then Mickey's like, I'm gonna take like he's gonna take out a gun. I'm gonna shoot my way through kind of way like he's moving. And then he was like, no, I have another idea. So they pull up to the officer, and Mickey now has a mustache and a beard. He didn't have one before, so now that's his disguise. And then Pee Wee is dressed in a little pink dress. Just to make it clear, I think I showed it. Pee Wee is a guy, so why is he in a pink dress? Well, he's gonna be in disguise, and he's gonna play as disguise as maybe Mickey's girlfriend or wife. And I think he has like a ponytail, so probably has fake hair because he has short hair. And then, so the cop stops them and he asks them, "Where you headed?" or something. Or no, first Pee Wee goes, "What's the problem, officer?" So he's talking like a girl. It's so lame and stupid, but I don't know why I find it funny. So obviously I find it funny. And he goes, "Nah, we're looking for some escaped convict," I think he says. And then the police officer goes, "Pee Wee, can you get out of the car?" And he's like, "Sure." And then Pee Wee gets off. He starts swinging this little dress or whatever, like a girl, like doing like this. And he's like, "What's the problem, officer?" Again, and then the officer's like, "No, I just wanted." The officer tells Pee Wee, "I just wanted to admire you in your cute little dress." And like, whatever. Pee Wee gets back in, and then they take off. And then when they evade the police by having the disguises, Pee Wee's still in his outfit in his passenger seat like this, and Mickey's like looked at him like, "Whoa, you're kind of hot." But he's like, "Whoa, I should I better stop," and he continues driving. But that was pretty funny. Oh gosh. After that, it is now nighttime. Pee Wee Pee Wee is driving now, so obviously Mickey is allowing Pee Wee to drive, but he's driving in the nighttime, and and the road starts getting weird. He starts seeing signs, dumb stuff like there's a sign saying going around, and then that there's an avalanche, not an avalanche, but rocks, falling rocks. I mean, stuff that there's no signs for that, not that I know of. And Pee Wee ends up, because it's dark and he's confused, he ends up going off a ravine, and and he goes off a hill or ravine, whatever, and they're falling. Like, they're both. Pee Wee's yelling, like, screaming, and then it's funny because Mickey's like still asleep, and Pee Wee's like shoving him, like, what to do. And Mickey's like, kind of, the first thing he does, like, just get off me, I'm sleeping. And then he realizes they're falling, like, he gets scared too. And they start holding each other, and then Mickey throws him off, I believe. But I don't know who does it, Mickey or Pee Wee. They, since it's a Cadillac, it didn't have the top on. They press on the top, and the top acts as a parachute for the car, and then they fall down with the car gently. The car lands gently, safely. It's been a little bit of a bump, but it's okay. And then the first thing Mickey says when they get out, out, out. And then Pee Wee says, "It wasn't my fault." And then Mickey says, "I like you. I like you a lot. But I'm bad, Pee Wee. I'm bad. You can't be around a guy like me. I'm a loner, a rebel." The same thing Pee Wee had told Dottie earlier. And he goes, "Arrivederci, baby." And then Mickey takes off in the car and leaves Pee Wee behind. And Pee Wee's like, "Wait, I'm in the middle of nowhere." So Pee Wee is out in the boonies. You know where the boonies is, like the woods, or he's out with nowhere. It's dark. He finally takes out some binoculars or something, and it's light, and he's surrounded by a bunch of animals. So I'm like, poor Pee Wee, how are you gonna survive? There's like wild cats and raccoons. I don't know, but like the whole cast of Bambi are there. Animals good and good and bad, harmless to harmful. So we don't know how he survives, but the next scene is gonna be that there's a big semi truck rig or whatever with a rig, big truck, truckers truck, the big ones, big rigs, whatever you call them, with the trailer. I never understand the thing of a semi truck, but anyways, it's a big truck, a big rig with trailer. Um, it's coming. It's dark. It stops. It picks up Pee Wee. Pee Wee's end up being going in this truck, and there's gonna be a big overweight fat lady. So not to be mean, overweight, okay? Called Large Marge. Now, Large Marge picks up Pee Wee as a hitchhiker, and thank goodness because he was in the middle of nowhere. She starts talking about very scary stuff. That I think something about it's her birthday, and then Pee Wee's like they're driving for a while, and then she scares Pee Wee by telling her stuff or whatever. She's talking like a ghost, whatever. And then Pee Wee goes finally. He goes, "I'll get off right here." And she's leaving him at a restaurant, and she goes, and then she says, don't forget to tell everybody Large Mark sent you." And then her face like turns into like monsters. Her eyes pop out like a monster or ghost. And Pee Wee's like scared. And when he gets off, like yeah, she's like, "Tell everybody that Large March sent you." And then Pee Wee goes into the restaurant. He walked in the door and he's looking for a chair, but almost as soon as he gets in, though, he says, I mean, the restaurant is full of people. There's truckers and all these people. And he goes, "Well, Large Marge sent me." And then everybody stops eating, whatever. And then they say, "Well, Large Marge, it couldn't be her. She," and they start saying the story, and that she's actually dead. So like Pee Wee probably knows, like, hey, for sure, man. Well, yeah, I saw her you know, monster out or ghost out, what have you. So it's like, yeah, he's this guy. Pee Wee has just encountered Large Marge, the ghost, whatever. So the people are kind of suspicious of Pee Wee, but he does get his dinner. He's eating, I don't know, hamburger and fries or something, I don't know, and a shake. And then the waitress gives him um, his bill, the paper bill or ticket, and he's about to pay it. He's about to reach for his wallet. He's like, "My wallet's gone." So they next show that he's washing dishes because he can't pay his bill. Somebody has stole his wallet. He's talking to the waitress, and it turns out the waitress's name is Simone. And Simone is talking French to him, and then Pee Wee he's like, he's done washing dishes, and because Simone says, "I think you're done paying off the burger and fries, whatever, and the shake you had." And then Pee Wee shakes her hand and, "Okay, I'm off." And he's about to take off again. I think he still has a, in the cartoons, he still has the stick with the red thing, the red cloth that has clothes in it, or whatever. So he's gonna take it, and he has a hair, all cute. He has a hairnet. Now Simone is nice enough. She's gonna give money to extra money to Pee Wee so he could be on his way to help him out. And he's like, "Thanks a lot." Pee Wee's about to leave, but then Simone goes. He says something. She does say the thing in French, and then she's like, "No, wait, hold on. Can you stay the? Can you kind of like? Can you hang out with me tonight? Not spend the night with you, hang out." He's like, "I have to go." It's like, "Please." It's like, okay. Um. So after her shift, I don't know. That's a 24 hours place, but don't matter. But it's after her shift or the place closes. I don't know. Simone is walking with Pee Wee, and they're walking towards this dinosaur thing. It's a huge display, and there's this big tall guy looking at him. And I'm gonna say it right now before I forget. His name's Andy. I actually remember his name. Wow, it's a huge guy. When you see him, he's gonna be maybe close to 6'8", 6'9", close to 7 feet tall. Huge dude with beard, and he's wearing a trucker hat. He sees them going into that dinosaur thing, and it has a door, and they go in. So you can obviously go inside the dinosaur, and he's like growling like "Ugh," like a monster, like a big ogre or Bigfoot, whatever. It turns out that Simone and Pee Wee can go all the way up. It's a T Rex dinosaur, the ones with the little hands, whatever, big feet, and it's huge. And it turns out they could go all the way to where the mouth is, the tongue, and they could see the teeth. And it's funny because Pee Wee goes, they start talking, and then Simone starts talking about um, her and Andy, that she has her boyfriend. That big guy is Andy, is a boyfriend, and says that Andy is mean or something about France. That he wouldn't want to go to France, and Andy in high school thought that he couldn't learn French. He thought French was just made for him to make guys like him look dumb. But her dream is she wants to go to Paris, France, and all that. She's a hopeless romantic. And it's funny because Pee Wee goes, I've never heard anybody say this. Like, Pee Wee goes, Simone, I everyone I know has a big butt. Why don't you tell me about your big butt? And he doesn't mean butt literally. He means like butt, like butt. I could have done something. And Pee Wee's like saying, "This is your Simone. This is your dream and all that." And there's even a part before that. Simone goes, "Pee Wee, do you have any dreams?" Like, yeah, there's a snake in a vest and all this dumb stuff. She's like, "No, I don't mean those kind of dreams." But yeah, then Simone tells her about the going to France and all that. And then Pee Wee's like that. You need to chase. You gotta. Pee Wee tells Simone, you gotta just chase your. You can't just let your dreams happen. You have to make it happen. And she's like, I don't know. And they're looking at the sun. They're gonna look at the sunset come up, and they're like, oh, they give a big like gasp. When they get out, Pee Wee is with Pee Wee and Simone get out of the door out of that T Rex, and then Andy's waiting for them, and I think even somehow Andy heard that they were talking about Big Butt, so he's already upset. Like maybe he's listening to the door and could he hear all the way up to that mouth? I don't know. Anyways, Pee Wee and Simone are gonna get out of that T Rex. It's already daytime, and Andy has heard that comment about the big butt thing, so he thinks there's things going on. He's taking it literally that Pee Wee was trying to come on to her, so he's really mad because Simone is his, they're currently in a relationship, boyfriend girlfriend. Simone and Andy. So when they get out of the door, Pee Wee and Simone, Andy immediately chases Pee Wee, and they're gonna run out to the desert, and Simone is yelling Andy, Andy. She's yelling Andy to not be chasing Pee Wee, not to kill him. So, but Pee Wee is, I mean, Andy's a big guy. He's overweight, so I mean, he can run, but he can't catch Pee Wee because Pee Wee is obviously fast and real skinny. And Andy chases Pee Wee onto the desert, and it looks funny because Andy actually falls down, and then Pee Wee is able to catch a train that's a moving train, and one of the cars is open, and Pee Wee jumps in the train, and he has escaped Andy. Now, on the train, uh, Pee Wee meets his old man, and it's a bum. It's one of those bum guys that ride trains. And then they start sing. Pee Wee and that old man start. They're sitting on the side of the cart while the train's moving, and they're singing. They're singing songs, and Pee Wee looks happy at first. Like singing "Oh Susanna, don't country cry for me." And what else they're singing? They're singing all these songs, and then after a while, Pee Wee is tired of it, and it looks like this old man like eats sardines, and he has bad breath. He looks like a bum that hasn't brushed his teeth. So I think Pee Wee is getting tired. Pee Wee is getting tired of this man's breath, or he's getting tired too, probably of the sun and sitting too, and the old man's bad breath. And Pee Wee falls off the train. He's like, and he falls off the train. He's tired of the old man. And then it turns out that, Pee Wee he's near the Alamo. He's gonna go take a tour. Um, he's gonna take a tour in the Alamo. Um, yeah, so he takes a tour, and then the tour guide in the Alamo is sorry, I keep saying the Alamo. It's some girl from Saturday Night Live from the '80s. I used to see her a lot. She's giving the tour, and then Pee Wee's trying to ask real quick. Well, like, where's he didn't even get to get on, and then the tour guide stops him. Keep all questions, leave all questions to the end of the tour. So Pee Wee's gonna have to go with this tour of people, with this tour guide, and do the whole tour, and have to wait till after to ask his question about the basement because the gypsy said the his bike was in the basement. Um, so the female tour guide does the whole tour, and then she's like, finally, who has any questions? And then Pee Wee's like, the basement. And then the tour guide is like, she's like, excuse me? And then Pee Wee's like, yeah, where's the basement in the Alamo? And then she laughs at him. She's like, huh? There's no basement in the Alamo. And he starts laughing, and all the people in the tour start laughing at him. And then poor Pee Wee, he runs out of there humiliated. Um, then you see Pee Wee's at some place. He's near some bus stop or something like that in Texas. And he sees Simone. Simone is taking off on the bus, and they're talking. And she's like, walk me to the bus. They hug each other because they've already met. And she buys her ticket, and she goes with Pee Wee. She goes, walk me to the bus. Pee Wee walks her to the bus. Pee Wee's like, I no. Simone's like, I know you found your bike, Pee Wee. Au revoir, au revoir. She's like out the window from the buzzing. And then Pee Wee's like, au revoir, Simone. If y'all don't know, I guess au revoir is like bye in French. She takes off. And then he looks to the side, he looks to the ticket booth, and then there's Andy probably looking for Simone. And they said that they tell the ticket guy tells Andy that bus has just left or something like that. And then you see Andy pop up because he was leaning probably to talk to the cashier because he's so tall. And then he starts running after Pee Wee again. So there we go. Andy is gonna chase Pee Wee once again in that place, but Pee Wee finds like some kind of dressing room, whatever, and has the cowboy stuff. He dresses like a cowboy, and he ends up near this place where they're doing a rodeo, and he's near where they have the bulls or something or a wild horse, I don't know what. and then they put Pee Wee on a I believe it's a bull, a wild bull. They put him in the stable with a bull, and it's one of those like little stables that are actually gonna go out into the rodeo. So Pee Wee, they put Pee Wee on the wild bull. He goes off like a competitor because he's dressed all in a mask where you can't see him, a cowboy mask thingy, and his hat. He's dressed to head to toe like a cowboy. He does good. He's right. So now he's riding the bull. He's doing very good, and Andy's still after him, I believe. And then Andy falls. I mean, Pee Wee falls off the horse, gets a concussion, and then the bull runs after Andy because Andy has a red shirt on, and Andy runs, and then the bull jumps over the fence to go after Andy too. So it's a wooden fence. And then Pee Wee's knocked out from falling from the bull. And then next you see that Pee Wee's still in his cowboy getup. Um, and the other cowboys are there like, what do you remember? What's your name? He's like, I can't remember. Where are you from? I can't remember. And that cowboy asks him, Pee Wee, what do you remember? I remember the Alamo. And then the cowboys, they throw their hats up in the air. Yay! If y'all don't understand, the Battle of the Alamo, that's what the Texans said. Remember the Alamo when all the Texans died in the. I shouldn't be laughing. It's serious. All the Texans died in the Alamo fight versus the Mexican army. Um, I did. Um, I did skip a part. He does around the part with Simone. Around there, he does try to call Dottie, and he says, "Dottie, can you wire me some money for I don't know what to get a trip back to go home?" And Dottie, can you help me find my bike when I get back? He's like, "Okay, Pee Wee. When you get back, you can take me to drive-in." And then Pee Wee's like, "What? Shh, I have a bad connection. What?" Shh. Oh yeah, and even before that, he goes, Dottie says, "I'm in." No, Pee Wee tells Dottie on the phone, "I'm in Texas." She's like, "Where?" He's like, "You don't believe." Pee Wee's like, "You don't believe me?" And then Pee Wee sings the song, "The star is bright and shine," and they're like, and all those people like, "Deep in the heart of Texas," and he's doing that so he can prove singing that Texas song to Dottie that he isn't really in Texas. Now, anyway, we 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 had just touched about when he fell off the bull and stuff like that. Right after he fall, now we're gonna go back to the where he fell off the bull, and now the cowboys that helped him, get up, whatever. Now we see that Pee Wee is walking near the highway in the desert somewhere, and highway and desert, so he's near the highway, so it's not that bad. He walks into a bar. He walks into a bar, and it turns out it's a biker's bar. And there's a bunch of bikes outside. He walks in. He tries to use a phone, and the bikers are getting rowdy in the bar. And then Pee Wee's making a call to an operator or whatever, and he wants to make another call, maybe to Dodge or something for more assistance or help, whatever. And he's trying to talk to the operator. But the bikers they're like playing around and making too much noise, and then Pee Wee tells the bikers like, "Shh, I'm trying to use the phone." And these bikers don't look like a wimpy bikers; they look like hardcore, like they'll kill you bikers. And then the biker gets Pee Wee and says, "You know where you're at?" He's like, kind of like, no. He's trying to go past him. Right? He's like, excuse me," and then the bikers. This is a chapter of the Satan's Helpers biker club, something like that. And he goes this bar. They tell the head biker tells Pee Wee, "This bar is off limits." And then they actually let Pee Wee go. He's like, "Okay, I'm out." So Pee Wee walks out. He's like outside. He's like playing around. He accidentally bumps one of the bikes, and there are All the bikes are all lined up. One he walks, knocks down one, knocks all down the bikes. I don't know what's up with this stuff. This is what I just did in Friday the 13th with, where they knocked down bikes too, and Friday the 13th Part 3, the one with Jason. Anyways, this is happening again. Somebody, the good guys, are bumping bikes again. I don't know what's up with my movie reviews. Anyways, so he was like, he's all like scared. He wants to cry, and then the bikers from inside the bar have heard all the bikes tumbling down because they're in a row, like I said, and they get Pee Wee like this, they get him like this, and they take him inside, and then they put Pee Wee, they put him on a pool table laying down, and we're like, we're gonna tattoo him, we're gonna we're gonna axe him. I don't know what's up, and then we're gonna kill him. And the other one, no, we're gonna kill him this. We're gonna hang him. Then we're gonna kill him. And then Pee Wee goes like this. I don't know why he starts like, please let Pee Wee go. And all the biker gang in the bar goes, no. And I like this part. Then this I guess you could say sexy older biker woman goes. She gets Pee Wee like this too. She brings him up, and then the lady goes, I say you let me have him first, and she gives him a grin. And then Pee Wee asked the gang of bikers like, hey, don't I get a last request? And then one of the biker guys goes, sure, why not? So Pee Wee goes to the bartender and he whispers in the bartender's ear. The bartender's kind of dressed weird. He has a weird hat on, kind of like an Air Force hat, but it's white, and he has a white beater shirt. And then when Pee Wee whispers in his ear, he's like, he whispers something, and then that bartender takes off his shoes, and when he takes them off, he's like got super short. So they're high platform shoes, and and then Pee Wee goes to the jukebox, and then he puts a coin in as the music starts, and it's the beginning of the Tequila movie, and this is like world famous dance kind of deals. I think this is what made Pee Wee. Pee Wee starts his dance. The bikers are not too fond, but once he does more of the dance, the bikers start getting more into the dance, the Pee Wee Herman dance, and it's the dun, 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 back, dun, 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 whatever. And the bikers don't get excited until Pee Wee starts getting mugs and starts throwing them on the floor and trashing them. That's when the bikers start getting into it and all that. And then now they're they're liking the Pee Wee Herman dance, and then Pee Wee even gets on his toes during the dance, which is really hard with platforms, and he does it, and they're like getting really into it, and at the end they're like tequila. Now they have accepted Pee Wee into the gang. That's what it looks like because they've given him a jacket, and now they're gonna give him a bicycle. Now they're outside, and he's like, "Thanks for the help, dudes," and then they're like, "No problem." Then so now Pee Wee, they have given Pee Wee a motorcycle jacket, one of theirs, so they probably took him as their own, and now they're giving him a bike. He I keep forgetting how to turn on a bike, but he steps on it like the brake with his foot, or not the brake, the gas, and he starts in there like yay, and the bike is going. And he takes off. He takes off real fast. He looks a little bit out of control, and then he hits a billboard. He jumps. I don't know how he jumps to it, but he jumps to the billboard, and you see the bike go down, and then the bike goes down this way, and Pee Wee goes rolling that way, and it has appeared that Pee Wee is now seriously hurt, and now he's in an ambulance, and all the biker motorcycle clan or whatever, they're escorting the ambulance that Pee Wee's in. They're escorting it. After that, Pee Wee is having a dream about the devil, Red Devil, like he's in hell, Like in hell, there's a lot of fires, all these devil stuff, devil clowns, whatever, devil surgeons. And I did not know. I mean, I seen it my whole. I saw it so many times, but I didn't know that one of the devils. It looks like it's Francis. It looks like it's Francis, and I don't know which one the other one is. Like I think a surgeon, whatever. The other one may have been Phil Hartman. Uh, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and Phil Hartman is actually one of the reporters. Phil Hartman is another Saturday Night Live cast member. Anyway, in the dream, he's dreaming that these devils are. They're gonna look like they're gonna drop Pee Wee's bike, not the motorcycle. No, his Schwinn bike, the one he's looking for. It's like a pot of fire and destroyed or something. So, in the dream, Pee Wee's very concerned. He's very afraid, and then he wakes up. When he when he wakes up, he wakes up in the hospital, and then there's a TV, and it shows that on the TV that he has found his bike. The bike is actually on TV, and this Kevin, it's by an actor called Kevin Morton in the film. Um, it's just some little kid. He's it looks like it's in Hollywood. They say it's in Hollywood, and this kid has a bike. Looks like it's in Hollywood, and photographers taking pictures, and like people like jumping up on his bed. That's hospital like ha ha, and so now he's gonna head off to Hollywood. When Pee Wee gets to Hollywood, he asks some guy in a red night suit, and those red night suits actually look like they come out in this movie called Cruel. And I don't want to get into that because I'll get into too much, but I think I just recently talked about this. Well, because I brought one that covers out, but that's what it looks like. Pee Wee asks that night that comes out in Cruel, in the crew uniform or night uniform. He asks him, "Hey, do you know where Kevin Morton is?" And then he asks some dancer or whatever, feathered dancer girl, like, "Where's Kevin Morton?" And she's like, Stage six." I believe she says stage six. So Pee Wee goes over there to the studio where Kevin Morton's at, that kid. And this kid is like, he's like, it looks like he's maybe 10 years old or something. When he gets into that stage six, Kevin Morton's there, and he's like some scene about nuns and stuff. There's like some nuns there, and they're gonna give him a bike. But before they even get into that, they're talking like real life. They're not. They're gonna act out the scene like they're in Hollywood. They're in the Hollywood studios. And it's funny because Kevin Moore, the little kid, is fighting with one of the nuns, and the little nuns is like, "I've had it with that little jerk or that little weasel. He's very rude and whatever, inconsiderate." And and they're like asking, "Hey, are you ready, Kevin Morton?" And the little kids like Kevin Morton's like, "I am ready. I was born ready. Roll it." And they're gonna be like, "Action!" And he yells out like, "Action!" And then after that, he starts talking all nice to her. He starts acting, "Goodbye, Mother Superior. I want the I want the I want the monastery to have my bike." And she's like talking all nice to him now. "No, you've earned it," and all this stuff. And Pee Wee's bike is right there. That's the bike they're talking about. That's the one they're using. And then Pee Wee is one of the nuns. He's undercover as one of the nuns, and he goes, "I'll say I'm just gonna take my bike." So, so Pee Wee takes the bike, and they're like, "Hey, stop that nun!" And then that studio, the doors look like they're run by remote control or something. They're closing it, but Pee Wee ends up getting out of the door in the nick of time. And like I said, he was undercover in none outfit. He takes it off. Now he's in regular clothes. Now he has gotten his bike, and now he's ready to roll. He's ready to take off. Um. Oh, Kevin Morton is actually played by Jason Hervey. He comes out. He comes out, and the Wonder Years, Fred Savage's brother. What I'm gonna say is that so Pee Wee is now on his bike. He's gonna have to escape, and now they're gonna send security, the Hollywood Studios security go after him. They have like these what do they call those carts? The carts that run the carts they run on electricity. And it's like the golf carts are kind of like that, but they run electricity, and they are going after Pee Wee. I'm gonna say you're gonna see in these scenes you're gonna see like he's gonna go through all the stages Godzilla, Christmas one, surfing, sound stage, whatever. He's gonna go through the stuff, and I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag on this one, because I saw this as a child. I saw it several times. I really enjoyed it, and I hope most of you will enjoy it. So I'm gonna start ending my review there, but like I said before, of course, I'll show it again. Sometimes I forget to do this, but I'll show it again. This obviously is for children. If you're a parent, want to see it with your kids, go in and watch it with your kids. If you're a big brother, big sister, you want to be nice to your little brothers, little sisters, or little nephews, what have you, I recommend you show it to you. Show them this. Show them this movie. I mean, even adults, if you still have that kid and you still want to watch it, watch it. I'll still watch it. I just don't watch it because I'm always busy with stuff. Um, for a kids movie, it is made very well. There is some adult parts in it, like the biker gang. It's really funny. I think it's okay for a kid too, but an adult will find it extremely funny. I found it extremely funny. I mean, it's really well made for a kid. I mean, there to me, when I was a kid and right now, there's like no dull moment. It is not never boring. He does act weird and childish, but that's if you like. If you're into that type of stuff, you're gonna enjoy it. Once again, what I always say, if you're picky and all that stuff, you ain't gonna like it. But if you're not picky and you like this, the way he acts like a kid and all that stuff, and all these funny, weird parts, stupid parts, whatever, and you find that funny like I do, then you're gonna enjoy it. You're really gonna like it. I think. Give it a chance. See if you like it. And if you don't, you don't. But I do. From my taste, from my point of view, I strongly recommend you watch this movie. And that's all I have to say about Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I'm gonna leave you with this. The the world is not a perfect place, but we can all make it better. This is my name's Alberto, aka Destroyer 48, and I will see you for my next movie review. And I take care and be safe. See you next time. Bye.